So recently there's been a big debate in the Wuthering Waves community talking about some of the endgame modes that have come to the game. Now, obviously there was two new endgame modes that have actually come to Wuthering Waves in version 2.1, being the Whimpering Wastes event and also the new weekly challenge, which I've actually had a little bit of a go at, and I wanted to talk about my overall thoughts and opinions on this as someone who's a little bit more of a casual player. Obviously it's kind of hard to believe that, seeing as how much content I actually make on Wuthering Waves, but to be honest, I'm one of those players that play the game and pretty much any other game whenever I want to and whenever I feel like it, and I just wanted to give some overall clarity to the situation overall. But before I get to this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you guys do enjoy it, and also go to gamemodes, use my code Keza. They've got a new event on the moment where you can actually get 21% off instead of 10% off, so again, definitely go check that out. So go over there, use my code Keza, and let's get back into the video. Another rare Keza video where he actually plays Wuthering Waves in an actual video, which again is kind of surprising. But again, these are some of the new events that came out. Obviously Whimpering Wastes is out, and also Fantasies of the 1000 Gateways. Now I've played both of these, and as I said, I'm a casual player, meaning that I just play whenever I want, you know, I just pick it up. And with a lot of these stuff that's been going on in the community recently, with some people really hating it, some people really enjoying a lot of these events, I had to give it a go, and it kind of spurred me on to actually try it. And I think that one thing that kept me away from this is that I have a lot of rotations in terms of gacha games, and I definitely do recommend a lot of gacha creators do this, is having a good roster of different gacha games to play. And I'm not just talking about your Honkai Stars, your Genshin Impacts, and your Zelda Zone Zeros. I mean, yeah, they can also be included in there, but I mean some of the other games as well that maybe aren't as well known. For example, I play a lot of Azure Lane, I also play some Nikkei as well, some Snowbreak. I pretty much dabble in a lot of them, and I try them out because, again, it's very interesting to see some different perspectives in terms of gachas, and I feel like that's something that a lot of creators should actually do, is actually dabble in a couple of these other gacha games, not only just have an opinion and have some different mechanic ideas that maybe they could bring to their videos, but also just to avoid burnout in general, because it does get very boring just playing the same game over and over again. Trust me, I played Genshin Impact for a very long time, and yeah, I am definitely burnt out from that game. But let's get into what I actually think about this. So let's start off with Fantasies of the 1000 Gateways. Now, this is the new weekly event. Pretty much there's a combat challenge that comes out every single week, which again, I think is actually really great. It gives you something to do, and I felt like the challenge was pretty alright. You know, it felt a lot like the Elusive Realm, almost exactly like the Elusive Realm, and honestly, I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty quick. It was quite fun. I managed to use my Peeb. I used my Peeb in there, and to be honest, she was really good. She did a lot of damage, and she managed to clear the entire thing. Obviously, there was a lot of people talking about like the usage of Phoebe in a lot of these events, including Whimpering Wastes, which I will get into for the Whimpering Wastes kind of portion of this video. But honestly, overall, I thought the Fantasies of 1000 Gateways was kind of fun. They had a lot of different challenges and stuff in there, which weren't just combat things. For example, they had one where you could actually dodge a lot of the projectiles from some of the enemies, which I thought was really cool, and it's something a little bit different. And the main thing that was really good for me was that it was quick. You know, I could get in there, get my rewards, and then get out, which is something that I really prefer whenever it comes to endgame. I don't like sitting there for hours and hours on end and having to do it every single week. That is just boring. But I felt like Fantasies of the 1000 Gateway actually went really quickly, and I had a ton of fun playing it. Now, Good Kuro Games have done something a little bit more different, a little bit more creative, and a little bit more unique. 100%. I definitely think that maybe this mode could have been improved a little bit more, and maybe we could have seen something completely new, but it just seems like this is just a copy and paste of the Elusive Realm. Like, I'm not too mad about it because I did enjoy it and I did have a good time, but they did like kind of make it seem like it was going to be something completely new that we haven't seen before, and that just wasn't the case really. It was literally just Elusive Realm, except, you know, you just do it once and then you get all of these points. Now obviously the rewards are really good. Obviously you got 40 asteroids, 60 asteroids, 60 asteroid, and then a couple of other, you know, talent level up things, and I'm pretty sure you actually get that every single week, so that's really good in terms of rewards, and I think a lot of free-to-play players are definitely going to benefit off that if they do decide to play it. But overall, I thought it was a pretty cool challenge to actually bring into the game. I know a lot of people were very much disliking it, but to be honest, in my opinion, I thought it was alright. Now let's go over to Whimpering Wastes. Whimpering Wastes was a little bit different for me. As you can see, I don't have many of the rewards in here because I just gave up playing. I'm going to be honest. This was a really boring event for me, and I was very disappointed with what was going on in Whimpering Wastes overall. Now obviously, as I said in the last kind of section of the video, I used Peeb, I used Phoebe in the last event, and she was super fun, did a lot of damage. Well, that was not the case in Whimpering Wastes. Whimpering Wastes, Phoebe was absolutely terrible. She didn't meet the timer at all, and it was absolutely horrible to play, which again just doesn't feel good for a new character that's come out. Obviously Phoebe is the newest character whenever it comes to the Whimpering Wastes release, and you would have thought that maybe, you know, they had a couple of mechanics and stuff in there that would allow her to do a lot of damage and actually showcase her character off a little bit more. You know, it's a little bit of an incentive for people to pull these characters, and not only does it advertise Phoebe and like kind of incentivize people to actually get Phoebe because she's good in this mode, but also people that have already pulled her, or new people that have come to the game and maybe, you know, they pulled her and she's like the only DPS on their team. They can actually give this a go and try it out. But obviously it probably felt horrible for a lot of people because, you know, Phoebe was their only DPS and she doesn't work very well in Whimpering Wastes in general. Now, obviously the rewards are really good. You get a lot of asteroid and everything like that, and that's really great. But I felt like there was a lot of factors to this which just made the game mode a little bit boring and not great at all. I felt like I was just going on a perpetual loop of just the same thing over and over and over again, which I just could not stand at all. I just felt like, hey, have I already done this fight before? And, you know, 9 times out of 10, I probably have. It's just like the enemies have higher HP. And I don't think that's a good way to actually do a game mode. I feel like they should have done something a little bit different there. Maybe in terms of like buffing, maybe adding some other stuff to change it up a little bit. Because I did feel like I was just kind of fighting the same thing over and over again, except with higher HP. And I felt like that was a big issue. I felt like the higher HP thing, it was just like, yes, it got harder, but the enemies itself didn't actually try to attack you or anything. They just kind of stood still, and the arena was absolutely massive, meaning that they could be running all over the place and it'd be really hard to get them, which obviously isn't fun whenever you're on a timer and you're actually trying to defeat them in a certain amount of time. And I know there are some characters that are really good at crowd control and everything like that that maybe could actually fix that, but let's just be real, not everybody has crowd control and it's not very viable for a lot of people. So again, it was kind of annoying, and overall I just didn't really like the Whimpering Wastes event in general, and it was kind of disappointing for me. But to be honest, the rest of the update, it's actually been really good. I felt like a lot of the fishing mechanics and everything like that have been great. Me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of fishing events, but to be honest, I actually had a lot of fun with it. And also the new quest in the Everardo bank vault, or whatever, the underground bit of the Everardo bank. I thought that's actually really, really good. I thought it was a decent story for the filler. I didn't think it was like some of the most spectacular story ever, of course not. But to be fair, for a little bit of a filler update, I thought it was actually pretty decent, and I felt like it was kind of overhated as well. But overall, really, really good update. It would be really nice if they could fix some of these events and some of these endgame things, because again, Kuro Games, they did kind of promise us a lot. It felt like they were trying to like show off a lot of the endgame stuff that they've brought to the game, like it's something completely new and it's going to change everything, whereas it just ended up kind of disappointing a lot of people. And I think that's the main reason why a lot of people are very disappointed in some of these endgame events. It's just mainly because of how much it was hyped up to how much effort was actually put into them. I think if they just went, hey, here's an endgame mode, I feel like people would be a little bit less mad because they didn't try to hype it up as much, whereas it seemed like they were very excited to add some of these new events, and hopefully, you know, Kuro Games do go ahead and make some of these changes to these game modes. I don't know if we've actually already had a survey out or not, but usually they do release a survey after the update is came out. So if you got something to say in the survey, I definitely recommend, you know, talking about the end game and saying, hey, can we fix some of this kind of stuff? Can we fix some of the new events that come out? Because again, they just weren't that great. I feel like, you know, they could have done a little bit more of that, and I think it is just healthy to tell them, hey, you know, maybe we could change this. And, you know, this isn't supposed to be like a video hating on Wuthering Waves. I know a lot of people do like to kind of go ahead and be like, oh, you know, you just don't play it. Just don't do that. Just shut up. Like, let's be real. I think we could all critique the game based on things. You know, it's not like I hate Wuthering Waves as a whole. I feel like the game modes were all right, but I felt like they could do better. And obviously, Wuthering Waves will definitely benefit from that if the game modes were actually even better, because it would entice even more players to come over, which is something that we all want to happen. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and also leave a comment down below what you guys thought about this. What did you think about Whimpering Wastes, and what did you think about the new weekly game mode? I feel like, yeah, the weekly game mode was pretty good. Whimpering Wastes was not so great, but again, they're both kind of like passable, but that's not what we really want to see from Wuthering Waves and Kuro Games. We want to see them be great. We don't want to see them be passable, so hopefully they do improve it in the future, and hopefully you do give your feedback so that they do improve it in the future. But yeah, that's all I got, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.